Thank you for listening to Creative Control, a listener-funded podcast. If you would like to help and support Creative Control and keep this podcast going, please visit patreon.com/Creative Control and make a monthly flexible donation today. Jenn Grant is a prolific and acclaimed songwriter, singer, and musician based in Lake Echo, Nova Scotia. Since 2005, Grant has been releasing records that are each more ambitious than the last, earning a loyal fan base for her folk and pop sensibilities. Her latest album is 2019's Love Inevitable, which found her leaving Canada for Portland, Oregon, where she worked with producer Tucker Martine to craft one of her most personal and reflective releases yet. Jenn and I caught up in Toronto recently for a conversation about this album and its inspiration, how she's balancing her work with being a new mom, her personal and professional relationship with Daniel Ledwell, her thoughts on navigating the social media landscape, and more. With the support of listeners like you who subscribe to this podcast and spread the word about it, and make flexible monthly pledges at patreon.com/Creative Control, plus in-kind support from CFRU 93.3 FM, Pizza Trocadero, The Bookshelf, and Planet Bean Coffee in Guelph, and Granddad's Donuts in Hamilton. This is the 482nd episode of Creative Control, featuring the wonderful Jenn Grant, with your host, me, Vish Khanna. Hi, Jenn. How's it going?
Pretty good, Beach. How you doing?
I'm well. It's nice to see you in Ontario.
Yeah, I haven't seen you in a long time.
When was the last time we would have seen each other? We used to talk more.
We did.
In this context.
Yeah. Do you remember we did that? We did a thing once at that's like diner in Toronto.
France.
And I laughed the whole time.
You enjoyed yourself.
I felt so crazy that day.
I know, and you've talked about that almost every time since.
Really?
And I don't know what it was. Why do you think you were laughing so much?
I think I don't know.
Was it me? Was I funny?
You were so funny.
I don't know. I don't think it was me. I might have been, but you were giggly.
It was.
And you were doing goofy stuff. That might have been 10 years ago.
Yeah, probably maybe eight or
9 years ago.
Yeah.
Are you still giggly?
Oh, sometimes.
Things are different for us.
They are.
In the time that we've talked, we've have little exhaustion machines that take up our time. Congratulations, you became a mom, right?
Thank you.
Now, I feel like you have made this something of a... People are talking a lot about you being a mom.
They are.
Is it weird?
It's okay. I'm when I was recording, I was talking to Tucker about just how I want people to talk about the record, the music, but then I was like, you got to let people care about what they care about, I guess, too. Not that they won't care about the music. It's not even out yet. But
so why was that happening, do you think? I know I've read the sort of promotional information that comes along with the record, and you've been very open about how you wanted to become a mom and all that stuff. So in a sense, you've made it part of the narrative as well. And
absolutely.
It's sort of swimming around the record.
Yeah.
Because the other thing about being a parent is you think about your own parents a lot.
Yes.
I find. Have you found that?
Oh yeah.
Like you're thinking about your...
Well, my mom a lot, for sure.
Yeah. And sorry, you lost your mom?
7 years ago, yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. That's also...
It's not your fault.
It's not my fault, but I went through... my mom was sick. She's okay now.
Oh,
but
that's great.
Yeah, it's great that she's okay.
Yeah.
But we had a tough last year because she was battling... They say fighting and battling, but I don't know if that's what... I guess that's what people do. They have cancer and they're fighting it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my mom had.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, it was hell.
Oh, yeah. She had 3 times, actually.
Oh,
when I was like 14, 27, and then she died right after my wedding.
It comes back.
It comes back. This one was considered like a new cancer because
okay.
it had been like 11 years since the second one.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, I don't want to... Well, this colors your existence, doesn't it? It's not just you as a performer.
No, it's my existence, and my music reflects my existence. So like, and I also want to be genuine. So, like my record is personal and it's based on different types of struggles and fortunes.
Yeah. Now you mentioned Tucker. Now who is Tucker?
Tucker Martin is a producer. He's from Nashville. He lives in Portland, Oregon with his wife, Laura Veers, who's a singer-songwriter who I love. He's Grammy nominated he's a producer. He's worked with lots of great people. Mm-hmm. He produced this record. He's my friend and I love him.
So traditionally, or at least in the previous iterations of you on record, I don't know how I can't talk. I'm a little sluggish today. But anyway, when you've made records before, who have you primarily worked with as a producer?
My husband, Daniel Ledwell.
Right. So this was a departure to work with someone. How long have you been working with Dan?
Well, we've been married 7 years. We've been together for like 10 years.
Mostly.
For a record. Like since 2009. 2009, a record came out, Honeymoon Punch, that we made together. So I guess like since 2008. So yeah, like we've been making records for a decade.
You started during your giggly phase.
Yeah.
When you would giggle during interviews. So this record marks a real departure then.
A legit one, not even like a made up one when you're like, this is a departure.
Literally a departure. You flew.
You
were at a gate and you flew probably to Portland, I'm guessing. I don't know how you got there. But something's going on with you in the context of these songs and making this record. Obviously we talked about you becoming a mom. That's huge. And then you're also within that, you have the confidence to be like, I'm going to try something else, Dan. Did Dan go with you?
No.
So what's going on there? What made you feel like I need to try something completely different?
Because we did like 4 records and it's been 10 years and I know how to, it's like we just really explored all the spaces, together
mm-hmm.
and made some really beautiful records, I think, together. And yeah, I just was like, it's time for something new. And I wanted to figure out as well if I know how to make records without Danny, because kind of sometimes would feel like, he's such a part of my story that I was like, I want to kind of find myself again in the recording process or like in the music process on my own, the way I began.
Yeah.
So it was for me and also kind of for him. Maybe just he loves to produce records and we've loved working together, but I didn't want it to become like a stagnant thing where he's like making another record by my wife, which not to say it would have, but like he's got lots of stuff going on too. Like he doesn't need me or anything. So
he needs you. Why wouldn't he need you?
Well, he
definitely
doesn't
needs
like
you.
need to make my records.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Does he make other people's records?
Lots of people's records,
right,
yeah.
Right.
So I kind of wanted him to focus on his stuff like on in his own way, because we also tour together. We're parents together.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as it happens, last summer 2018, I was in Edmonton visiting my family, right? And you were playing the Edmonton Folk Festival.
In the rain, yeah.
In the rain.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's when I heard you were pregnant. That's the first time I heard you announce it on stage.
Yeah.
And everyone cheered. But, of course, why wouldn't they? Maybe some of us were like, you don't know what you're in for here. But, but also, you and Dan mostly you, engaged in an interesting kind of banter, which was it seemed a little caustic.
Oh, yeah?
But it was funny.
It
was
does.
very
It
funny.
happens. We do that.
That's a thing you have, a dynamic?
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know if it's good and it's not on purpose, but like it happens on stage. The other night I tried, and we were in Vancouver, and I just started listing all the like really special, beautiful qualities of him, because I was like,
That's right.
I don't know if I want to have that like headbutt energy. And I honestly, like, I think that comes out in most, I would say maybe more on his side when we're touring together. It's like, it's a joke. But sometimes
he
I'm
gave
just like,
as much as you gave him, by the way. He didn't have the mic as much as you, but
that's
he was
true. It's at a disadvantage. See, that's why the whole thing, though. That's why that's why it keeps happening, because it's like kind of funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, sometimes I'm like, this is stupid. I don't want to do this.
It reminded me of like a country thing, like maybe a country couple having like, it was almost like a skit or something, like a sketch, but it's not planned.
Oh, fuck no.
Touring is hard. You need a release valve, and
I think that's the release valve. I think it's more his release valve.
Yeah. Are you a problem?
I am. I think that like he has so much responsibility, and I'm just like, hey, I'm in the limelight. Look at me. And he's like, I got to carry all this stuff. I got to do all this stuff. I got to make all your records. I got to like make you a like whatever, like a video, or like he does so much for me, and I kind of feel like it's too much.
Right. So there's a bit of truth to the tension.
There is. And he's also just like really talented, really good at stuff. And I've tried really hard to get like other people to do things. Sometimes if it doesn't work out, it's like he has to redo things for me too.
Oh, right.
It's kind of a whole thing. But I try to take stuff away from him, like projects away from him sometimes, and to have him like, you know, with less of my like work stuff that he has to do. And it's hard. Like he still wants to do all the stuff. So yeah, I don't know what we're doing.
No, it's fine. It was entertaining to watch.
I'm glad you liked it.
And then you sugarcoated it with, we're expecting a child.
Yeah.
Like, so everyone's like, what? I don't know what's going on with these two. They seem to not like each other, maybe. But
we love each other.
No, I know. I viewed it as a bit of a bit, but
yeah.
And anyway,
it is kind of like a bit.
Yeah, and I feel like at that show, did you not introduce some new songs? Would you have been playing songs from this record at that point?
Yeah. Was I? I think that actually I don't remember.
Okay, I don't.
Yeah, I had planned on it, and then maybe everything got too crazy.
Well, describe the configuration on that. Your band configuration was a bit unusual, as I recall.
Was it just me and Danny?
I feel like there was someone else, maybe, but there was a lot
of the baby.
There was the baby. Yes, of course. Maybe it was just the
two of us. Yeah,
but there was like more.
No, because he was playing. That's the other thing. Because he was playing so much stuff. It sounds like there's more people there.
So what was he playing?
Well, he would have like a keyboard, like a Nora, but then like 3 or 4 or like 5 like other things, like a synth bass and like a critter and
a drum machine,
and like we had a sampler pad with different stuff. Yeah.
So maybe that's what I'm thinking about, because I hadn't seen you play in a while either.
Yeah.
And I think you have, as in your trajectory, we've watched you, those of us who followed you, go from arguably kind of more in the folk rock realm to consistently becoming poppier. I think, right? Is that fair?
I don't know. It's been a kind of a culmination of different things on every record. Like Paradise was the last record I put out. Paradise was definitely kind of more in the pop realm, I guess, but not pop. Like just there was more like beats and a little bit more electronic stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, code for pop now.
That's
that it has
has
a beat.
Yeah.
It has some electronic flourishes or what have you. So tell me what the collaboration with Tucker was like, because I'm hearing a very dynamic record. I think safe to say in the pop realm, right?
I have no idea.
You don't know what that means, do you?
No. I mean, some of the songs sound like that.
Like they could be on like the big radio stations.
Well, they're not.
They should be. Yeah. I'm telling you, they sound like they could be like that Raven song. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has that. There's a few songs, I think. And some, you don't think so?
No, I agree.
So how did the collaboration? You left Halifax? I presume you're still in Halifax.
Lake Echo, actually. Now it's outside of.
You left Nova Scotia? Can I say that?
It's in Nova Scotia.
Okay.
I left Nova Scotia. Yeah.
You left Nova Scotia for Portland, Oregon. And what did you have with you? Songs? Did you have them done?
Of course. I
formulated?
Yeah.
Okay.
You formulated as in like structurally, or what I wanted them to sound like?
Well, I guess I'm curious, if you leave Dan behind and he's producing your records, what does Tucker bring to what you brought to Portland? That's what I'm getting. Like,
everything. He chose the band. I let him have full control. I was like, just wanted him to know I was open to whatever. Just wanted to go and just experience whatever he wanted to bring to the table. Mm-hmm. So he chose Eli Moore to play bass and guitar, and that's who's traveling in my band right now too.
Okay.
And then Justin Chase played keyboards, and he also he assisted engineering on the record, and Tucker played drums. And I wanted Tucker to play drums just because he played on Laura's records and a couple projects, and he's a drummer, and I just think that I don't know, I felt like there would be a magical quality to it if he was, you know, in the band too, and there was, so that's good. And yeah, we just sort of we had our own like top 10 lists, and we kind of
top 10 lists
of songs.
You had your own top? You mean like each of you had a top 10 list? Like, did they rank this? These are the best songs? How did it work?
Out of the ones I wrote.
Yeah. So everyone ranked them?
Yeah.
That's interesting. So you'd be like, here's my favorite song. And then Tucker would say, no, this is my favorite song.
Yeah. And a lot of them were the same.
Oh, that's cool.
And I don't remember how we got to our finished top 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
So why Portland? Like, why did you that's where they were from, obviously.
That's where they live. I've always been like kind of weirdly drawn to Portland. I also was kind of intrigued by the fact that Tucker and Laura have this working relationship and marriage, sort of similar to my life, you know? And yeah, just like I felt that some of her records, like July Flame and stuff, they really reminded me of us living in Halifax, in this little house that we used to have like a decade ago. And I kind of just had him in the back of my mind, like for 10 years, like, like
10 years in the back of your
mind. Just in a small part, be like, if I ever worked with another producer, I think maybe I would like to work with Tucker Martin.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I just then one day just reached out, and it was he just got right back to me.
Okay.
But yeah, he brought a lot of joy to the project, and a lot of it was a really in the moment recording experience. It was great.
So from what I can tell from the songs, you are in this batch of songs, you are kind of dealing with current life situations and issues, I suppose, and just the way life is. But you seem reflective too. You seem to be reflecting upon. There's the song about leaving a light on, which I've read somewhere that's something your mom used to do, right? When you were out and about. Yeah.
And I'm not a literal songwriter, so it's not like, oh, I wrote this because my mom used to leave the light on. But it's like when you're singing a song, for me, I will end up with these like images. And I noticed at one point, and then when I was singing it, I kind of was like, oh yeah, mom with that light on the porch.
So do you think is that recollection because you're a mom on some level? Do you feel like you're starting to think more about what it means to be a mom? Because I've been finding myself, if I may, I see how I'm emulating and also avoiding things my own parents did. Like I'm trying to be like, what would they have done? And what am I going to do? Like it's a totally different context, different time of the century and different, whatever. But I do think about, and I appreciate more what they went through. That leaving the light on thing has resonated with me because my parents would stay up. I was 16 and I'd lie and say I was going to...
Were you bad?
I wasn't like super bad, but I would say they wouldn't let me do the things I wanted to do. Like for instance, the first time I saw the band Superchunk, they thought I was going to see an author speak in Toronto. Like I didn't tell them what I was doing.
Same. Not the same story, but I was like that.
You would say, I'm going to do this, but you were actually going to do something.
Like, I would be like, the midnight movie is playing. It's only $5 to get in. I want to go to the movie. But in reality, it's like, no, I'm going to stay out till 2 and I'm going to like buy weed with $5.
Right.
Whatever. Just normal.
Probably normal kid stuff.
Normal kid stuff.
But now when you have a kid, like I'm 7 and 4 of my kids, I know where they are the whole time. I know when they're at school and when they're not at school. I know where they're pretty much with me or maybe across the street with a friend. Maybe. I'm not a helicopter parent. But it's dawning on me that that's going to end soon. At some point, when I was 10, 9, whatever, I started to go play road hockey, supposedly. And I did. I would go across the neighborhood and go play road hockey, and I would do stuff. And it just got me thinking about, like, having kids makes me think about what my parents went through. And I'd be like, why are they so crazy about me coming home? Why are they leaving lights on? Why are they leaving they'd leave their bedroom door open to hear me? Like, normally they'd close the door when they were sleeping. Just the anxiety of being a parent is starting to their anxiety is now, I'm relating to it more.
Oh, I absolutely relate to anxiety for sure as a parent.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I just wonder if that sort of stuff you find that your upbringing is seeping through these songs as well?
This album is just kind of happening at the time when everything is so new for me that I wrote the songs when I wasn't a mother yet. So.
Right. You don't know? Okay, so these songs are not maybe reflecting the experience.
No, they're not. But like, I also find that for me, like when I write stuff, the meaning of the song often like reveals itself like after like the record comes out. That happens all the time.
Yeah.
And so I think it is tied to those things.
There's beautiful phrasing on that Light On song too, by the way. I meant to mention that to you. Reminds me of like a Dylan song.
Whoa.
Like
Okay.
Nashville skyline sort of. There's just something going on there, like late '60s Dylan. Are you a fan of Bob Dylan?
For sure.
Do you like him?
I love him.
Okay, I'm just curious if you can talk, because the record's very dynamic, and I mean you've been doing this a long time. Like, are you still kind of thinking about stuff like that? It'd be great if this was all on the radio, or are you just like doing your own thing? Because I think you've had a bit of both, right? Where people were kind of playing you a lot in Canada, in particular. Like, is that sort of stuff in your mind now? Or are you just like, I'm just gonna do my thing? I know the rest of it's kind of external. Like, if people like it, don't like it, I don't care. Where are you at with that kind of stuff?
I think I'm kind of in the middle, or kind of trying to decide, because I feel like I definitely just kind of want to do my own thing. Like while making the record, I felt like I was like, I'm doing my own thing and I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost like this recording. I almost was like, I don't want to put it out, because I was like, this felt like such a sort of sacred experience. I don't know if I want to like devalue it in any way by just being like, oh, the record like didn't get on like some list, or you know what I mean?
Kind of what I'm getting at is the material conditions of being a musician now.
It's very hard. Yeah. I'm not really like digging the vibe of like what you have to do to be a musician and artist right now. Like, so.
Is this okay?
Yeah.
Like talking to people you like. That seems
this?
like an interview.
I'm into it. Like real genuine conversations, I'm into.
But there's
any of the like bullshit that you like put online, or you have to like constantly be online, I'm allergic to.
You don't like it?
No, there was a time when I was excited by it, and now I feel like it's kind of just like really hard, you know, I don't think it doesn't make me happy.
I'm not, like, I have it still, but like I don't use Facebook anymore.
Yeah.
I'm trying to use Instagram more, but even then
don't.
Well, do you have it?
I have it, and I want to delete it.
Why?
Because it's like, it's just like people taking pictures of like the part of their day that's good and being like, look at me, I'm doing this. Or like people don't know how to, they're like doing something that's fun, but it's almost like my brother was telling me there was this like interview with these teens, and with no irony at all, they were like, I have fun so I can put it on Instagram.
Yeah,
like, I just think it's like a total sickness.
Well, we're doing this self-surveillance thing.
I hate it.
I don't like it as much as I used to. I used to think it was fun. The
likes and stuff, I think the whole thing is like pretty disgusting, and I just need to find a way to like work with it, because I can't just get people to, I can't just quit. Like, I feel like if I quit social media, I quit music.
It's very refreshing to hear you say this. I know it's upsetting on some level.
It's good to talk about it.
Well, because the other side of what I find troubling is the sort of the metrics-based economy we have, where you can see all the likes, you can see all the streams, and people are like, I got 30,000 streams or whatever, and that's a small
like
number.
Like, we're rating humans.
Yeah, but that's what we're obsessed with.
Yeah, so my record comes out in 2 days, and I just want to quit.
Don't quit. You want to quit all music?
No, I want to play music. I want to make records.
Right.
I want to play shows. I want to have real human interactions. Like, I want to connect with my audience. And I don't want to live my life this way.
And so can you make that decision? Can you not? Like you just said, if I don't do that shit, I might as well not make music anymore. I don't think that's totally true. I know of people who don't.
Like, what do you think would happen if I just like didn't post anything and just like did interviews, which I enjoy, and played my shows? Would there be any difference? So
there's two things going on there, though, because in this current cultural economy, you and I are going to do this interview. I'm going to share it.
Yeah.
Because
so am I.
I have. Thanks.
Because I like it.
Well,
I also feel like, because there's, you know, we can use these like platforms to have like educated conversations and like spark something. Like, I love podcasts, you know, there's all these things I love, but then there's other things that like make me depressed and feel crazy, which is like just only communicating through people through a little tiny like robot. Yeah, and so I've stopped using one of the platforms altogether, except for the page for my show, and that's the only time I go on the book. How do you feel? Better. Generally, the more I disconnect from my phone, the better I feel. Like, the more I don't look at
emails all the time. Like I've turned off certain notifications now.
I'm going to email you right after this.
Thanks. Please do. No, and I'll get it eventually. But I actually, to be honest, that's been a huge thing. I turned off the notifications and I only look at the stuff when I want to look at it. I have control over it now. It used to be this thing with the phone I'm referring to. People can't see it. It would be pinging. I'd be making dinner for my kids and the thing would be going off. And I have to keep it on because my wife's commuting or something and I got to figure out. And when my kids are at school, I got to keep it on. But once we're all kind of together, I'm starting to learn to turn it off. And I feel better.
Yeah.
Like, I feel better not... It's a weird leash this thing has become for us.
Yeah.
Like a Pavlovian... It's weird to me that it's dinging and donging and all that stuff. Like it's like Pavlov's dog.
Yeah, it is.
We're
because
responding.
You get like a little bit of... like you're getting a reward every time you check something.
Yes. And I also like... I don't know. I do a show... I do this show because I like doing it, but... I don't know, a major corporation would probably be like, it's not doing as well as you, can't you try this? And I'm like, no, I just talk to who I want to talk to.
Yeah.
And if it's a good conversation, it's a good conversation.
Yeah.
And I think you're probably in the same boat. I wrote a song. If I like the song, that's enough for me now. I don't need all this external analysis of what I do.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel better about myself.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. It's confusing because a lot of the stuff that we make as cultural creators has an audience. It's made to be received. It's made to start a conversation. So what we're talking about in terms of shutting things down is vaguely shutting off those conversations.
Exactly. So that's what I'm struggling with because I also make music for people.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't be happy making music and not putting out my record. Like even though I said that before.
Well, when I was gonna follow up on that. You play shows and the people promoting the shows and the venues, they'll share your show. And you can
They're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Maybe you can casually get on there every once in a while and, retweet something or like it. But otherwise, just stay off of it. That's what I think. I'm having these conversations all the time.
Yeah?
I had a conversation with an artist recently, and it was a good conversation. And at the end, she was talking, off the record, she was just talking about how she became obsessed with people who unfollowed her.
Oh, really?
And she had all the apps that tell you when someone unfollows you. And I said... I used to have those apps too, and I got rid of them because I realized it was destroying me. It was making me petty.
Yeah.
All of this stuff is so infuriatingly petty. Like, why didn't they like it? Or I'm going to like it to remind them to send me a response to my email.
Yeah.
Like, people do weird things.
Yeah.
And I think it's bad.
It's bad.
But I also worry we sound like we're old.
I don't care.
I just think it's bad. I think we're not old. I think we're wise.
Me too.
Okay, good. Is this
we're parents.
And we're parents.
And so we have to, I think it's our job to figure out how to navigate this so that we can teach our children to have healthy lives and healthy minds. Well, it's all about having a healthy mind.
I do a dumb thing where I share stuff my son does.
Yeah.
Because it's either amusing or it's cute. And I don't know. I think I do that at an educational level too.
I love that stuff. But I also am like, I feel like more like I don't want to share stuff about Gus because everywhere I go, people are like, Gus, Gus, Gus.
Oh, because they know his name. Yeah, I just share. My son has been obsessed with the Toronto Raptors recently because as we're speaking, they're about to enter the finals, the NBA finals. But he's been drawing photos of them at school, and they're adorable.
Yeah.
And like drawing photos of like portraits of players. So I've been sharing them, and people are losing their minds in terms of the stuff that people lose their minds over that I do on social media.
Yeah.
But he also he overheard me telling a friend that when I was a little kid, I wrote to the Toronto Maple Leafs organization, wrote them a letter saying, I'm sorry someone passed away, and I'm sorry. And I don't even know if I asked them for this, but they sent me a yearbook for the year that it was like Rick Vive. I don't know if you followed the Leafs at all, but it was like all the Leafs from the 80s. It was like a yearbook. It was just like a little booklet they probably sold in the gift shop. And my son heard me telling the story and presented me with a letter he wrote to the Raptors in his little 7-year-old handwriting saying, I hope you win the finals. Please send me a yearbook. And I shared it, and then I deleted it because it had his name on it. Like, I talk about him sometimes on the show and I say his name, but like I am starting to wonder about the lack of agency my children have and us share.
Yeah.
I have been told by new parents or, people who are going to be parents that they find this stuff helpful. oh, I didn't know, I didn't think my kid would be interested in the thing that your kid is interested in. So I tried it and they loved it. Like I didn't think I thought I only had to listen to Raffi. I only had to listen to Fred Penner, but I heard you talking about taking your kid to AC/DC.
Yeah.
And now I feel like I've learned something. I don't know if that's right, by the way. I don't know if I know what I'm doing, but I do think that as parents, there's a bit of a role we have as public people.
Yeah.
To make parenting seem no, it's not a role, but I think people don't understand parenting until they do it. That's what. Like, have you found that?
Yeah.
Like, you've learned a lot?
Yeah.
And does it destroy misconceptions about being a parent?
I just thought that I'd really roll with everything in a way I am, or maybe it really looks like I am, I guess. But yeah, it was just harder than I thought. Just like the beginning.
It's very difficult, particularly
hardest thing I ever did.
Physically for the parents or the mothers in particular. I know it's very. Are you okay? You doing all right with it?
Oh, yeah, I'm doing okay.
Okay, good. So, one of the things that we've talked about is that the fact that a narrative started to emerge around this new album. Some of it because of the way you framed it, right? Are there stories about, from your perspective, about being a musician, the way you've been a musician, or now trying to be a musician with your kid is here, by the way. I saw your kid. You brought the kid. Obviously, you got to bring the kid.
He's everywhere.
Are you on tour right now? Or are you just doing like press stuff?
I just did like a pretty big-ish tour.
Okay, so I guess I want your perspective on a couple of things.
Okay, cool.
And mostly, if you feel like we've been talking about imparting wisdom to people, what would you want to tell someone who's sort of entering your realm? What would you want to tell them to prepare for? What kinds of things?
Into what realm?
Into the realm of being a touring musician who's bringing a child with you on the road and trying to balance that. I've heard from other musicians, particularly mothers, that the infrastructure in our country in particular is not great for bringing a kid on the road with you, like to be a working parent as a musician. Have you found that?
Okay. I mean, like, basically, without tooting my own horn, I feel like I, have established a certain like level as an artist in Canada, and I feel like I can put on a great show.
Yeah.
And I feel like I need certain things to put that show on makes me feel really good, that makes the audience feel really good. And I don't make enough money to put that show on. Like, there's not enough money in music. And also I need more now because I need help with my baby.
Yeah.
And I have to also let go enough to let someone else help my baby. So that's hard. But yeah, basically there's not enough support or not enough people like buying records basically to put on, the show that the audience deserves. But I am doing my best.
So is there some onus that you would wish to place on promoters in venues, on festivals even, like to be mindful of this, like to be mindful, particularly as a mother, you're talking about... I'm talking about
something else, I guess.
You're talking about rider or technical kind of stuff that you might need, right?
I'm talking about like just people on the road, having being able to afford tour manager, a band, a nanny, and like a merch person, and like maybe someone who to take pictures of you and deal with your social media. Like there's so much that goes into a show.
I see. Okay.
But so as a new mom, as a new parent, Dan and I found that even though we're losing money all the time, we're trying to take as much of an infrastructure with us, like people wise, so that you have a tribe around you, because you can't do it with just like Dan and I and a baby and a bunch of gear. And like a hummus and veggie platter is not really cutting it.
Right. Okay.
So I guess, it's not very good advice. Like I'm trying to figure it out.
It sounds like you are. This is new for you too.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I just wonder if at this point already you're like,
I'm like a wise,
not wise, but I mean, you've just started, you said like your record's coming out and you're touring behind it already.
Yeah.
And this is a new experience. You're bringing your child with you. So I just wonder what I guess
wait until your kid is at least 5 months old.
How old is your child?
He's 5.5 months.
Okay.
Yeah, but we did something at 9 weeks, 3 months.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And 4 months. And it was the worst.
So you learned from those mistakes.
It was really hard, and the audience didn't know, but it was hard.
Okay.
And wait a bit. Okay. But then do it. Do what you're supposed to do.
Okay, so this record is obviously done, and you're processing it still, terms of meaning and maybe what it might, right?
Yeah,
a little
sort
bit.
of, yeah.
Maybe not actively, but I imagine every time you play, don't you find that every time you play the song, you're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
that might be about something that I
Yeah.
didn't even think about
Yeah.
before. Yeah. Are you on to another batch of songs? Have
No.
you? Not at all.
No, I don't do that. It's not really the way I work. Like I was like tinkering around a bit, but nothing. I like to have like life experiences for like a couple years, and then I kind of do it all at once, and it's like sort of presents this time of my life.
People don't really think about that as much as I think they should, that the record is really an archive for the artist.
It is.
And whatever's going on in their time colors what you're hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all that to say, you worked with Tucker. You don't know what the next, you don't know if that's going to happen again or if that's even desirable. You'll find out when you're ready.
Yeah.
You really, that's the other thing that I've read is that you're really in touch with kind of your, I don't know what it is, intuition. Like is that true? Like, is that more so than in the past? You're kind of trusting moments to present themselves to you?
I mean, I'm in touch with my intuition, and I'm looking for moments to present themselves.
Okay. Okay. Good answer. I didn't. There was something about it that in the biographical info for this record that I hadn't thought of before with you. There was like a mystical kind of language around, like I was instinctually trusting my instincts, and
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got some little mystical-y things,
you do.
but I don't really like need to
articulate
it because
Yeah.
it just like, yeah.
Okay. If people wanted to know more about you on the internet, even though we've told them that's not a great idea, where would you send them?
Well,
You have
I'll
a
still be there somewhere. Like, do you want me to say like
You have a website?
I have a website,
What is it?
JennGrant.com. I have an Instagram. It's Jenn Grant Music.
Mm-hmm.
Twitter, Jenn Grant Music. Facebook, I think it's Jenn Grant Music. And I'm not on Snapchat.
Yeah, I'm not on.
And,
I'm on it, but people in India keep trying to break into it. I signed up for one and then didn't do anything.
Don't
with
even
it.
go. Don't.
Okay.
Who cares? You don't
Okay.
need it Snapchat.
Okay, thanks. Thanks, Jen. No, anyway, there's various people in India are trying to constantly break into my Snapchat. They might be using it now.
I hope they are using it.
Apparently, what happened was there was an Indian like a woman playing in a soap opera. Her name is Vish Khanna. So
They want the Snapchat.
They're trying to get the Snapchat for the character Vish Khanna. Like if I go to my Twitter, I'm almost always accidentally tagged for this beautiful woman that's a
Whoa.
villain.
You should be her for Halloween.
Yeah, maybe I should. I never thought of that. I feel like I'm her already. Every day. I'm Vish Khanna. Anyway, okay. So is there a song from the new record that we can play for people? Is there something you would pick?
Well, you talked about Keep a Light On a lot, so why don't you play that one?
Okay. Do you want to say anything more about it? I mean, we talked about it pretty
We talked about
extensively.
it quite a bit.
Okay. Let's play it. New music by Jenn Grant. Jen, I hope you had a good time
I did.
during
Thank
this
you.
conversation. And
I
it's
hope my
nice
baby
to
had a nap.
It's nice to chat. Yeah. It's nice to chat, and I'm glad you weren't so giggly. I mean, I'm not glad. I like making you laugh. I hope
laughed.
you laughed a little bit.
I did. The normal amount.
It's good. Thank you. Good luck with everything.
Thanks, you too.
I keep a light on for my baby almost every night. Keep a light on. Don't want a crazy fight. Keep a light on. Even if it's just the moon shining bright. I keep a light on. Everything's gonna be alright. for the wild chance. We play for the wild chance. Someday you can find me answering your prayers, baby. I dreamed you're all that I needed. I dream that you were all that I needed. I dream that you were all that I needed. I dreamed you were all that I needed. We play for the wild chance. We play for the wild chance. Someday you're gonna find me answering your prayers, baby. So get yourself out there, honey. Got no eyes to see. I dreamed you were all that I needed.
Thanks again to Jenn Grant for being on this, the 482nd episode of Creative Control, which is part of the Entertainment One podcast network and is available on all iOS and Android platforms, and also on Spotify, Audio Boom, YouTube, everywhere. It's everywhere, I think. If, for some reason, you can't find an episode of the show that you've heard about and you're looking for it, or if you want to learn more about me and sign up for my regularly scheduled newsletter, please visit my website, vishkhanna.com. You can like Creative Control on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at VishCreative, or follow me directly at vishkhanna. You can also listen to a radio show version of Creative Control on Wednesdays at noon Eastern Standard Time around the world at cfru.ca, or on an actual radio at 93.3 FM if you're in or near Guelph. Also, please visit patreon.com/Creative Control to make a flexible monthly donation to keep this podcast going. Thanks to Pizza Trocadero, The Bookshelf, Planet Bean Coffee, and Granddad's Donuts in Hamilton for their in-kind support for this show, and also to my friend Jim Guthrie, who loans me a song of his that I play on the show every week. You can learn more about Jim at jimguthrie.org. And thank you very much for listening to this program, and hopefully you'll check out other episodes of the show and subscribe to the podcast and tell your friends about it and spread the word. That would mean a lot to me, and maybe it will help them. Maybe they'll learn things. Who knows? You never can tell. But anyway, that's it for me. I will talk to you soon. Bye for now.